For centuries, the Roman Empire ruled the known world through discipline, military brilliance, and an unshakable reputation for power that made entire nations tremble before its legions. Rome's cities were filled with marble temples, triumphal arches, and crowded streets where merchants, senators, soldiers, and slaves lived under the shadow of imperial authority. At its peak, the empire stretched across 3 continents, controlling lands from the deserts of North Africa to the cold forests beyond the Rhine. To millions living inside its borders, Rome seemed eternal, an empire too powerful, too organized, and too feared to ever collapse. But beneath this powerful image, cracks had already begun spreading quietly through the empire's political foundations. The emperors who once guided Rome with strength were slowly replaced by ambitious men who saw the throne not as a responsibility, but as a prize. Assassinations became common, and loyalty inside the empire began shifting from Rome itself to the powerful generals commanding its armies. During one chaotic period of Roman history, more than 20 emperors rose to power within just 50 years. Most of them did not die peacefully in their beds, but violently, murdered by rivals, betrayed by allies, or overthrown by their own soldiers. Rome was no longer ruled by stability or wisdom. It was ruled by fear and survival. Every new emperor understood one brutal truth: whoever controlled the army controlled the empire. To keep the soldiers loyal, emperors began paying them enormous rewards from Rome's treasury. But the empire's wealth was not endless. Years of war and corruption had drained the treasury. Desperate leaders made a dangerous decision. They began minting coins with less silver. At first, the coins looked the same, but people quickly realized their money was losing value. Prices exploded, trade slowed, and farmers abandoned their land under crushing taxes. Across the empire, trust in Rome's leadership began to disappear. While Rome struggled with its own chaos, powerful tribes beyond its borders were growing stronger. For centuries, Rome had dismissed them as barbarians, uncivilized outsiders. But these tribes were evolving into organized warrior societies capable of challenging the empire. In the year 376 CE, tens of thousands of Goths arrived at Rome's border along the Danube River. They were not invaders, they were refugees fleeing a terrifying enemy from the east. Roman officials reluctantly allowed them to enter the empire, but corruption quickly turned compassion into cruelty. Starvation and humiliation pushed the Goths into rebellion. In 378 CE, Roman legions marched to confront them near Adrianople. The battle that followed would shock the ancient world. Roman formations collapsed under relentless Gothic cavalry attacks. Thousands of Roman soldiers died on the battlefield that day. Even the emperor himself was killed in the chaos. Rome had suffered defeats before, but this loss shattered the illusion of invincibility. Tribes across Europe now realized the empire could bleed. Over the next decades, waves of tribes crossed into Roman territory. Some sought land and peace, others came as conquerors. Then, in 410 CE, something unthinkable happened. A Gothic army marched toward the city of Rome itself. For 8 centuries, Rome had never been captured by foreign enemies, but this time, the gates opened to invading warriors. For 3 days, Rome was looted and terrified. The psychological shock echoed across the entire empire. Rome continued to weaken as civil wars drained its remaining strength. By the 5th century, emperors were little more than political puppets. In 476 CE, a dramatic commander named Odoacer marched into Italy. The young emperor Romulus Augustulus was quietly removed from power. And just like that, the empire that once terrified the world simply disappeared into history.